Everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. I am showing you the second album in my collection using the Flight of Fancy collection kit from a Graphic 45. I basically used a lot of scraps and I wanted to show you how to make mini albums a little faster than my original one. The original one had lots of, I call it paper piecing, where you put together different um, papers from the collection just to add some more interest to the pages. Like that's a prime example of adding 4 or 5 different patterns plus a focal point on it. I also, in this album, made 4 signatures, but I give you an option of how to just make 2 signatures. When I had done another mini album, I think it was my Life's a Bowl of Cherries mini album, somebody said it's a beautiful album, but it would take me forever to do that, and I couldn't sell it because it takes a lot of work. I would probably just use 2 pages instead of 4 or 5 or whatever it was I had. I thought, you know what, that's a good idea. Let me give you an option for 2 pages. So this one has just 2 signatures, but you still get a lot of bang for the buck. I kept things a little more simple, so the cover of the other one had flowers and layers and paint splatter, and this one is just using elements from the collection. The only layers it's got is that there's a couple of pieces of cardstock below some of the elements just so they aren't sort of hanging or floating or whatever. So anyhow, this is the same size mini album. It's 9 by 8.5. This one has a 2-inch spine. The other one has a 2.5-inch spine. Could have gone a little smaller, but I wanted to make sure there still was room for photos. So let me take you inside. Now, again, because I wanted to make sure you got a lot of bang for the buck, I kept the waterfall features in the front and back cover. So you can get 12 photos here. These are made so you can put a 4x6 photo in without cropping it down at all, unless you wanted to crop down a photo and put on here, but that's such a pretty little element. I just decided to leave it. I did not put anything inside. I mean, even the back. So I just have this pretty paper right there. I do have a chipboard element just to add a little detail. Again, this was decorated a little more simply than the other one. I love this postcard. I just love that flower. I'm assuming it's a peony. Now this has a magnetic closure, small little elements. The only reason I have some paper piecing here is because I was running out of paper. It still was the same paper that I used with the other collection, which was the 12 by 12 collection, the 8 by 8 collection, and the 12 by 12 patterns and solids. I did have the chipboard tags and frames and the ephemera, and I also had rub-ons. I did not use rub-ons on this one. So there's that. And then this opens up like this. And this is the little tuck spot where I had a bunch of these left over, and they really are so pretty. You can use them to journal on and add with your photos once you put them in the book. And then here, so this is really a big expanse of paper that you could put a 4x6 photo or even a 5x7 if you wanted to. So I didn't cut that apart at all, so you could put whatever photos and show you how to decorate it simply. There are still the hidden pocket pages. Nothing fancy schmancy about that, just gives you more room to put photos. I used on this one, in this book, it's signatures 1, 2, 3, and 4. In this one, I used 1 and 3. 2 and 4 will go in another book. And the reason I did that is because signature 3 has a lot more flaps. Signature 1 is a little more simple. So I added simple to more complex, just again, to give you room for photos. So now you could add photos in this pocket. It's a little smaller than 4x6, but you still could add photos. I think it's 4x5. And then again, I added some of these gorgeous journaling cards. Oops, 2 of those. We don't need 2. The backs of these are just as pretty as the front. I mean, look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous with the zinnias? So anyhow, I put that in the pocket where you could put other photos, you could put memorabilia, you could put journaling cards, whatever you want to do. There is one pocket in this album. And again, I just really used scraps to finish this off. And I wanted to show off the pretty paper. So on this page, this was from the 12 by 12. I loved these. There were 4 to a page. So this will open like that. I put a journaling card on the back just so it had something else to look at. There is a magnetic closure. It's not a pocket. It's just a flap. So I did put another one of the cut aparts, one of the full size. This came from the 8 by 8 collection. This was from the 12 by 12. And left this alone just so you could put a beautiful photo on there. This has a pocket. I actually left this open to put, if you wanted to, more journaling cards right there. So there's a pocket there. And then this one I have closed with a magnetic clasp. The other one has a different kind of closure. You'll have to take a look at that walkthrough so you can see what I mean. So not exactly room for a 4 by 6 photo, more like 4 by 5 3/4 or 5 1/2. But that gives you room below to put a picture. And then there is our hidden photo mat, sort of peeking out a little bit so you can see some of that pattern paper. And then this is the last page. This is all one signature. So we start with the pocket, we've got the flap, we've got this kind of flap, and then here we've got a side loading flap. So that'll open like that. That's again using those beautiful, I had a whole page of it left, so I wanted to use a couple more of those. And that's like that. So room to journal or add your photos in. Magnetic closure. That's a magnetic closure as well. And again, we have a waterfall where you could put 12, I guess 12 again, photos in there. And you could leave that open at the side if you want to make that a tuck spot. Actually, I left the top part here open so you could put a tuck spot right there. There's the spine. There's the back. I actually realized I have not glued this down. I just used some temporary adhesive because I wasn't sure that's what I wanted to do. I want to show you why. Because I could use this as the back. That was the only full-size piece of paper I had left over. I think just for interest's sake, I will use this, the border strip, to put on the back of the album. So that is the second in the series. This is using just 2 signatures. And as you can see, you still have room. I mean, you could still get 30 photos in here. So if you're using it for one event, a bridal shower, a trip, of your garden pictures, 30 photos is, pretty phenomenal to get into one book. So that is what I have. Check out the original video where I do a walkthrough of this and a full free tutorial on how I made this album. And then all you have to do is just choose which signatures you want and do this. By the way, there is cutting guides listed in the description of the tutorial. Cutting guide part 1 has pages 1 and 2, and cutting guide part 2 has the cut list for pages 3 and 4. So just so you know that. All right, that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching and have a fabulous day.